Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter. Still, I think the name's still written in my underwear, so it's got to be me. And we are back again tonight to get into some crowdfunded comics. This is the second time we've had this person on our channel, and for the second time, I see his name so frequently on Twitter. And you know how on Twitter you can change your name. I really, really have it ingrained into my head that his name is Nicholas Raven-Mueller. But that is not the case. His name is Nicholas Mueller, and the book is Raven, specifically Demon Hunter Raven. So without any further ado, Nick, welcome to the show tonight. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on again.
I'm glad to do it. So I've missed a Demon Hunter Raven, it would appear, because we had you on for the first one, and now this is the third one, and I'm like,
you had me on for the second one. The first one, basically, no one noticed. So
okay, so I didn't go crazy here, because when you get my age, the memory's the second thing to go, and I've already forgotten what the first thing is, so I'm kind of worried.
I'm on the road to that too. I'm noticing day by day that why did I come into this room again? Well, I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, it's we're all time traveling 1 second per second in one direction.
Right, and then kids keep us busy on top of it.
Oh, yeah. I was 40 years old when we had a baby show up by surprise. I was like, huh? How did this happen? And someone had to sit down and explain to me the whole process.
Right. Because you forgot.
I forgot that it happened. I was like, we did that? we used to do that, but we did that recently?
Yeah. Weird.
So how did things go with the second campaign before we get into the third one here?
It went exponentially well, better than what I had predicted. And this one is doing the same thing. So, I can't complain on my end. I'm having quite a bit of a growth spurt, as some would say. So it's been fun because I'm getting to meet more people, network with people. People are reaching out and getting to talk to more people. It's kept me busier than what I've planned on my end. So it's good problems to have. Yeah,
exactly. God bless me with tax problems is the thing you want to say.
Exactly.
And I've noticed that happens to people when they, first of all, successfully fund a project and then follow up with fulfilling it.
Right.
It tends to bring people back for the next one, and new ones follow them. So, are you higher? Well, I thought you got 11 days to go. You're on Kickstarter. I can't recall if the last one was Kickstarter or not.
Yep, the last one was just Kickstarter as well. This one will go to Indiegogo after it. The production time frame is going to be a little bit longer compared to the last few. So it won't be as quick of a turnaround as what the last two have gone through, which is like after I finish, I do like a month and a half afterwards, and then I just push it out. But this one is just bigger. It's got more to it. So instead of being like a month and a half, it'll probably be 4 months.
Okay.
But it does have an expectancy to be into people's hands by November. But that's worst case scenario. That's if everything screws up. But it could be possibly so much sooner. But that's for people's awareness, just in case things screw up on this end.
I didn't look up the last one. I just done a little project that I didn't do anything with. I was just curious. I wanted to look up comics that had gone into their second issue or further of the same title to see how their crowdfunding history was going, as far as who was making things grow and who was not. And I did not have yours in there, probably because I couldn't find issue number 1.
Yeah, it was. That's because I call them chapters. It's a little bit different, and the last one technically had 3 issues, and it was like chapter 0, chapter 1, chapter 2, and it was like 90 pages total. So it doesn't numerically doesn't act that way, but it's a little different.
Yeah, I'm seeing it here now, and I'll go ahead and just share what I'm seeing. So you had your first one here. That was this one. You got 43 backers on that one. And then when your second campaign came through, it was 141 backers. And now you have 110 backers. So you've dipped on the backers, but you've got 11 days to go. And this is the time where everything spikes. So
Right. And I've already had a few people come forward saying that they backed the last one, but this time they're financially crushed. The situation that's currently going on has caused them some problems. So a few of them said, they'll try to catch the next one that comes out, or they'll catch me later on. So I'm expecting a little bit of a difference in that area.
Well, we'll do what we can to get you some of those 31 backers you need to at least tie. Let's get 32 backers so we can just keep the exponential growth going up here.
Right. Right.
So you want to start with the trailer? We can jump into that? Or?
We don't have to. It's the same trailer as last time. So
okay. Well.
Kind of all the same characters. The same characters are coming forward, and we're bringing back the same people. Except now some people have joined. They're allies now. So this is a cover by Steve Cummings. He is the artist for Marvel's Champions and the current Young Squadron. And he also did Image Comics Wayward with Jim Zub. I was able to reach out to him and chat with him for a little bit, and he kindly agreed to do a cover for me. And his style fits my stuff perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so this is a cover for the Deluxe Chapter 3 version. It's if you want extra stories in your Chapter 3, which is what this one is funding, this will come with like 32 pages extra content. And that's the cover that will come with that. And just a pre-warning, this is just for backers. If you back on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, this is the only time that this will be ever put up there. It won't be again. I'm not selling this through any other avenues or means. So if you back this campaign, this will be something that you can get exclusively. It will be kind of like a campaign exclusive.
Are you not even going to make it a print?
I might make it a print, but so far I'm just keeping it to this. But in terms of getting it as a cover for this graphic novel, this will be the only way to do it.
Oh, BAP 2, man. God, I feel you, man, because I'm just into my first month now of a new job.
Yeah.
Everybody, BAP2's been our super backer, and now he's without work. We will keep you in our prayers, man. And
take care of yourself first. This stuff, as much as we love to sit out here and push this sort of stuff, take care of yourself. This, you can always come back later. Yeah, that's
I just
bad.
know that feeling in the pit of the stomach, and the first 2 nights when you're just laying awake there wondering, okay, how's this going to work out? I hope you've got a little bit of something to fall back on, because I didn't. I was like, okay, we can go 2 weeks and then we're homeless. But
that's never a good feeling either.
It was never a good feeling.
Right.
The weird thing though is just like money just kept showing up for strange reasons. Like, advertising money would suddenly come in. The unemployment checks got bumped up unexpectedly by COVID. I was like, yes, more people get sick and die. I need the money.
Kind of like those miraculous provisions that come in out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I had a similar situation happen last year. Yeah, some stuff came down, and in between, I was switching jobs in between, and I had a similar situation happen too. And just money just kind of kept coming in when we needed it most, and I definitely wasn't making it at that time.
Yeah, it's like I'm into my first month, and all that's happened was I got 1 month behind on my phone bill, and I'm just keeping it up. I'm like I'm going to catch up to you guys pretty soon here, but keep me a month behind. And that feel bad, man. I hope you still come and talk with us at least. So this is the extra cover. Where's the standard cover? There it is.
So standard is that was done by Robert Nix. That will be the one that will be going out to everyone. So if you miss the campaign, that's the one I'll be selling as well outside of this. It's just the Deluxe is the only one that will not be coming back again.
Now, I like that the mock-ups look like they're, hardcover versions of The Stand. It's not 160 pages, I'm sure.
Well, the Deluxe will be 100 pages, and then the full collection. So they are big books. This might be a little bit skewed. Yeah. So the standard is 68 pages. So it's just shy of 100 by like some 20 pages almost. 30 pages. My math is bad. So but yeah, they will be around 100 pages. I'm looking to do more graphic novel type of thing, so that's why the increase in production time is going to be a little bit longer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I can imagine it's so 60 something pages here, 100 pages here. Now this is the full collection. This is everything then.
Yep. That will be the previous chapters collected all in one volume. So that will be it'll collect chapters 0 through 2, and then you'll still get the chapter 3, because in terms of how the story is told, the ending of chapter 2 is kind of like a good ending point. Then chapter 3 starts a whole entire new story arc. So that you can get both of these. You can get it as an add-on or as another tier. I've got the catch-up bundle.
Okay. So to read everything, you get the full collection and the standard edition, or the full collection and the deluxe edition.
Exactly.
To read everything.
Exactly.
I got you.
Yeah, and then we're under stretch goals right now, which is crazy because I didn't do that last time. I didn't even get close to stretch goals. So we just unlocked. Yeah, we just unlocked that. So there'll be 6 extra pages, and that's going to be for everyone. For the people that buy into the standard, I'm just going to send you like an extra PDF of digital content. So you won't get it physically, but you'll get it digitally. And then the people that are getting the deluxe version, it'll just be packed on to the end of the book.
Okay. And then when you hit 6,000, I said when, I said not if, so when you hit 6,000.
Yeah, it's getting there.
So you're working with some other creators here to get these indie digital copies out here. What do we, I recognize Niobe.
Yeah, I was fortunate to get about a few people that came forward and actually gave me their books. So I've got 2 from Brainy Pixel. One is Chronicles of Faith, David, and then another one called Tenet Tales, and those are by Brandon Hallisworth. And then I've got Niobe by Larry Higgins, and then Tom Hutchinson's The Legend of Oz. So there's going to be 4 great in there. So those are 4 free books that are going to get added on if we hit $6,000. So, that's over close to maybe 20, 40, 60, 80, maybe close to 80 more pages worth of stuff you're going to get on top of what I'm already doing.
Yeah, and some good books too.
Yeah, definitely. I can attest to that.
So 7,000 has no description on it, but it's got this really cool, she's swinging a friggin' anchor at him.
Yeah. So that is Sailor Rogowski by Brian Ball, and that's Raven, and they're clashing against each other. And this is going to be a print. So if we unlock that, everyone will get this exclusive print. And so, yeah, I was excited about that because we had an opportunity to talk, and I was like, could we do a print? And he was like, yes. And I was like, cool. So that turned out amazing. I got to watch the process behind that and talk to him and discuss the creative part of it. And was nice to have a little hands-on in there and talk to Brian. He was really kind and generous. And I don't know who wouldn't want to work with Brian and Luigi. This is such a cool opportunity that I'm hoping to do again further down the line if our paths cross in that sort of way. So it was so cool.
Again, I keep saying that this crowdfunded comic thing it's succeeding because everyone's helping everybody else succeed.
Exactly.
It's like you don't even work as much on your own project sometimes as you're working on everybody else's, and then you come back and find everybody else worked on your project in the promotional area. You're building your thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And suddenly you come back to your project and there's like all these backers because everybody told everybody about it. Exactly. And everybody not only tells everybody about it, but they contribute to it. They help you with, setting up campaigns, telling their horror stories about what they did wrong and what to look out for. That's important stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, if you listen or read enough, you can learn from a lot of people like what they did wrong, because everyone's talking. It's just taking a moment to just kind of listen, hear. I've got my own horror stories. I put up my first campaign with absolutely no audience, nothing, and it failed, obviously, because when you've got no one there to follow you or to that want to read your stuff, you go in there expecting you're not going to get anything. You got to build. I submitted a manuscript to Amazon. It's in front of millions and millions of people. Surely 10% of them will, pick it up and buy it. Right. Yeah. Gotta make a name. Gotta make you gotta make a brand.
So how big is this print?
It will probably be. I'm still thinking that over right now. I guess that's kind of why I have the blank a little bit right now, because we haven't fully hit it. But it'll be enough to sit inside the book so that I can wedge it in there so that it's protected.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A lot of people doing like the backing board size, so it just slides right in the sleeve.
So it'll either be the size of the cover or just slightly smaller than the cover base, just to fit inside the pages.
So you told us that this chapter starts a new story arc, but it's the same characters. I'm betting they're probably all on here. These don't look like they're the heroes up here. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that these are bad guys.
You would be correct. You would be correct.
So who are we looking at here?
So we've got Raven and Violet, who are 2 demon hunters that are going to be taking on this antagonistic group called the Coven. Obviously that's a group of witches. The Coven has been kidnapping people across the Twin Cities, and they are looking to sacrificially do this sort of sacrifice to unleash something called the Nocturnal Moon, and it's this very evil demonic thing that's going to they want to unleash across the city, and the heroes are trying to stop them at every inch of the way, but it's just two hunters versus this large organization. So from previous chapters, it's just been Raven by himself. He's come across a new group, new allies. So the story will revolve around, can he work with this new team? Can they work with him? That's going to be kind of a lot of friction. Him and Violet are two sort of opposing personalities. He's more brash, jumps into a situation. The motto is he punches first, and then maybe he'll ask questions if he remembers. Violet's more of your trained professional. She's deadly, very trained ninja, sort of assassin-like. She'll think 10 steps ahead before you even moved, before you've even flinched. She's very irritated by Raven's sort of immature sort of handling of things. So he tends to cause a lot of issues for both of them, as where she's got a plan, he's already messed it up. He's uncalculable in her mind. So that causes a lot of issues for their dynamic. And when they're coming up against this large organization, they could be amazing together, but if they can't work together, this organization is going to defeat them quicker than they can even, move forward on their plan. So the story is going to be, if they can get their crap together and take on the Coven, they can defeat them easily. But everything can go downhill if they can't even communicate well. So it's been fun. I hired on another writer from Brainy Pixel, Brandon, to kind of help me see through these many paths that we're taking right now. This book is a lot bigger than what I've done from the last few, and it was just a mammoth to work on, and I needed someone to help me kind of navigate, expand upon certain plot elements that were maybe lacking last time. So it's been really good because he's been really helping kind of flesh out some of the story elements, adding more personality to the characters, and even just kind of picking my brain on stuff like, why would this character do this? One of the best feedbacks I got last time is people like the plot, but they didn't connect with the story. And I'm not one to just sit and go, well, that's your fault. Too bad. I respond to that.
Neil Gaiman wrote one time, and I always, I'm sure I don't have it exact in the quote, but he's like, if someone tells you there's something wrong with your story, they're almost 100% of the time correct. If they tell you how to fix it, they're almost 100% of the time wrong.
Right. Right.
So definitely take the feedback, but then you're the one who's got to figure out why you didn't connect.
Right.
And if it's, the characters or the character interaction and motivations, one of the tools that I used to find was very helpful when I had a handful of characters was I would just pick one, and then I would sit down and I'd ask it a question in writing. I would say, what is this? And then I would have him respond. And I would interview the character. It's a great writing exercise, and it kind of, you'd be surprised what some of them will tell you.
And that's kind of the issue I was running into, is I was juggling too many pieces all at once. And so Brandon came on and basically did that with me to help kind of speed up the process and keep the schedule, keep everything on track so that, by this time, by fall, we can be already moving on to the next thing that we're going to be putting out. So I can definitely say a quality boost in the writing department has been added. He showed me some script stuff last week, and it was just fit the tone, fit the personalities. So I'm really excited for people to enjoy the story this time, because everyone's been enjoying the art. They enjoy the designs, but the story is what I got the feedback on, of people wanted to see that better. So I'm really looking forward to people enjoying the story more this time.
Yeah. Now, I think you mentioned before that these characters, they work for an arm of the Catholic Church. Is that correct still?
Yeah. I don't want to directly say it's the Catholic Church. It's kind of like a offshoot.
The church.
Yeah, this church, because in this particular branch, it's the history of, there's so many different branches. We've all disconnected. We've gone separate ways. So, you could say it's the Catholic Church. In my view, it's just more or less kind of like a parallel or a symbolism to it. It could be the Lutheran Church. That could be a different church. But in this world, cool. I wanted to...
They never did press.
Because in my way, I also don't want to disparage against any of the other faiths, because we all have a very... we all try to walk a very fine line, and we all came to the conclusions that we did. But I also want to show the differences and ask questions of, why did we split? Why do we have to have these separations? And I think there's a lot of good conversations that could come out of that. And there's actually a backup story in the deluxe version called History of the Demon Hunters that will explore some of those separations, some of those degrees of that conversation.
It's interesting now that I think about it. It's like, anytime you have a religious superhero, they're Catholic.
Yeah.
Or since 2000, they're Islamic.
Right.
Or Muslim.
Right. And my character would actually fall more under the Pentecostal, charismatic sort of area. Maybe a little bit swinging towards the Lutheran sort of side of stuff. But if you really wanted to break it down, there's going to be a separation between some of these groups, because he starts out with the order, and then for reasons he ends up leaving and finds another group that's more of a Pentecostal. And the way that I've kind of used allegories is it's knights and ninjas. The Catholic faith would be more of a knight order, establishment, rules, regulations, and the Pentecostal side would be more of like your ninjas. And so, what about the Hebrew hammer?
I forgot about the Hebrew hammer, and of course, I at the same time I forgot about the Seraph. He's a little-known DC character. And thank you, Matt. Cannonball is a Baptist. I did not know that, but it makes sense with his Southern accent. I was going to say we need a good Baptist in the Cape.
And we've had like allegories, like Azrael is probably more like he's been shown to be like somewhat in that Catholic sort of representation.
He's more of like the old school offshoots of an order of something or other.
Your Templars and stuff like that.
Take care of yourself, man. Is that you talk about the division? I mean, we've if you've been around crowdfunded comics for 2 years, we've lived it in a microcosm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you paid attention to the whole Comicsgate movement, and I'm not saying you're Comicsgate or you're not Comicsgate. I don't care. I love comics, and there's people creating in and out.
Same here.
But to make the analogy I always make is like, if DC and Marvel were the Catholic Church, then your boy Zach and Captain Cummings were Martin Luther nailing up the Declaration on the chapel door.
Yeah.
And since that point, it's just been like, yes, this is the way. No, this is the way. No, this is the way. No, this is the way. And everyone's got their purity tests now.
It's bad.
It's like in the old days, two people run across each other and say, "Art thou a lover of the Christ? Yea, verily I am a lover of the Christ. If thou art a Christian and my brother, come with me and let us worship God together."
Exactly.
5 minutes later, thou art worshiping God wrong. What do you mean I'm worshiping God wrong? This is the way we always do it. Die, heathen! And they're just
well, yeah, and that's kind of what it boils down to in parts of the story is. The other part too, the want to create a Christian-based character that wasn't being handled by someone that wasn't of the faith. But it's not a faith. It's got faith-based elements, but it's not actually a Christian comic. It's using the elements, stories. Like these people start out as believers, but it's not preaching to you. It's just taking that mentality, right? Like this is what it already is. This is the established idea. The faith is true. Like we're going from the perspective that God is real, the Satan is real, the supernatural battles are real, and we're moving forward from that story point. And we're not asking, is this in doubt? Is this happening? So I wanted to come from a faith-based reality, but tell a story that's not preaching to you, like, oh, if you do this, you're damned, you're going to hell. I wanted to do it from the perspective of people that are living it and walking it.
I've always preferred the stories where it's real but unseen. Because as soon as you see it, as soon as you know, yes, we are literally up against the demon one. He's demon hunter. So I'm going to assume you're already literal demons are walking about, even though these guys look like they're wearing helmets of some kind.
Yep. This would be the Coven acolytes, the followers and worshipers of the Coven witches. They are the potty patrol, the foot soldiers, what have you, of the particular order of that establishment. So there are cannon fodder bad guys that get thrown to the side.
Yeah, but the other demons are real, and as soon as demons are real, then the other side is obviously just as real and could make intervention and appearance at any moment. One of the things that I always freaked out with DC, I didn't freak out with DC. I could never wrap my head around DC Comics. Was for the longest time, Etrigan the demon, real demon. We went to hell, literal hell. with Swamp Thing, and then Azrael, the second one. No, the third one. We had the new Teen Titan with the wings, who went nowhere, and then we had the Batman replacement who didn't go anywhere I wanted to go.
Didn't go anywhere.
And then the third one, who was a fallen angel, chose to fall, take care of somebody, and became a member of the Justice League. Literal Angel and Grant Morrison took them to heaven.
Yeah, because wasn't there like a war with angels and everything on his run?
There was one of the bullheaded angels was like wanting to start a second rebellion, and so we're going to go get a couple of superpowered humans to go up there and take care of them. I was like, oh no, sure, that'll
only
work.
Grant Morrison could even step into that sort of realm.
Exactly, but then and you have the Spectre, who is the literal wrath of God.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then there's elements in there that I'm just reading DC Comics and like, do you guys live in this same universe? Because you have Mr. Terrific, who's an atheist. He fights alongside the Spectre.
Yeah.
He's seen these things.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot he is an atheist in that too. Yeah. Yeah. How do you in that world then? Because then it becomes the opposite. How do you resolve that? How do they suddenly be like, it's not real. That's not happening. It's science. Like
it's like the Asgardians are actually aliens. They're not gods.
Yeah, true. I guess you could establish it that route, that they just believe that they're more of a higher.
So you explain it away as they're higher dimensional beings. They're not God. Like,
right?
Excuse me. I think existing one dimension higher than we are is literally what makes you God.
Right.
We exist one dimension higher than characters on a flat page that we draw and direct their lives around. We're their God, so to speak.
Right.
In Grant Morrison's world, that's a literal thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or just how about even just something that is embodiment of the actual creator and claims to be that.
Exactly.
Zuriel the angel is what Matt says. That's who was leading it.
Zoriel, thank you. I said Azrael,
Yeah.
but it was Zoriel. I wonder what that translates out to. I know the L is of the Lord. I'd have to look up Zori in my dictionary. And then, of course, the other, we're off on a deep, deep tangent here, Nick.
That's okay.
Remember Blackest Night and then Brightest Day?
Yeah.
So at the end of Blackest Night, you have these characters that come back. And I wrote an article about this. It's out there on the Critical Blast archives. People can find it. It's like, where were you before the Brightest Day? And it's like you get some heroes that are resurrected and you get some villains who are resurrected. And I'm like, and right away, the villains look around, see the heroes, and start acting like the villains. And I'm like, we know that hell's a real place. We know that they go there. Some of them have been there before because he did that whole Neuron deal where, he was buying souls and enhancing powers. Like, they just were resurrected. They should have dropped to their knees and said, thank you for taking us out of that horrible place.
Yeah, that was worse than ever.
Yeah. Instead, it's like, oh, we're out. No problem. Guess we'll just back to the old ways. And the heroes, of course, were like, oh man, why are we back? We were
you killing.
Assuming that the general blanket theology that good people go here and bad people go there.
Right. Well, I think that's because, these established universes don't have such established rules that they kind of. Right. Yeah, exactly. They don't have to, the recons and all that stuff can make for some messy, follow throughs and connection points.
Yeah. It's like, if you're going to get to the whole reboot of all the DC universes, you just pretty much just have to take it all the way up to, God just wiped off the writer's desk and threw another blue board down and started drawing again.
Exactly. Isn't that what this New Frontier thing is going to be doing? Or Infinite Frontier is going to be doing? It's like is it a reboot or?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I read the whole that last one where they had all the people picked out of timelines and threw them together. That was such a wretched mess of a story.
You can't follow any of this stuff anymore.
That's the one where the Batman from 1938 was drawn in there. And you have to think, well, wait a second now. Starfire from 85 I get, and Commandy and all. But there was no Batman in 1938, except there was. And it's the same one. And it's like, it's the linear verse now. And they just age slowly. Literally said, you will age more slowly. Decades of adventures. And
right.
No, sorry.
Yeah, I have a hard time following any of that stuff now. Like, whereas I guess that's kind of the curse, though, of having to maintain these money-making machines and allowing them to be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, DC's has the advantage. When they did this whole multiversity, they showed, here's the 52 Earths and what's on
Right.
each one of them. That's you. All you have to do is create an imprint for each one of them, and
That's
you can
true.
have Silver Age Earth again.
Right.
And it'll be very clearly trade dressed that, hey, this all happens here. You can have your Charlton Watchman universe, and hey, this all happens here. And then when you have a crisis, you bring them all together, and you get people interested in the imprints they weren't reading before.
Exactly.
You can increase your readership, but nah, they're just going to go with this unfollowable stuff. But
yeah, pretty much.
demons living in a literal hell, and Demon Hunter Raven fighting literal demons at some point, at some level. Is the fight ever going to take him outside of the physical realm?
Yeah, it's a few chapters away. That is something we'll be diving into after chapter 5, because one of the things that we'll be learning about is that there's a spiritual door. There's a door that is allowing people in. So one of the rules that I kind of have is you've got the small imp-like demons that are coming in through our emotional energies. That if you're depressed, mad, you're feeding into sinful natures. That gives them a doorway, and they can feed off of you. It gives them the ability to kind of manifest more into our life, or not into our life, but manifest into the reality, becoming more of a physical or a physical item for people to deal with. So we're going to find out later that someone's been slowly opening up this door and unleashing these things more and more. And that's why we're having so many issues. So in the Demon Hunter world, emotions play a huge part in terms of the spiritual battle we go through. Negative thoughts, bad feelings.
It's very much like the current theology of demon obsession, which could or could not lead to demon possession. Just based on where your mind is and what your focus is, and So you can definitely use it as an open doorway.
Exactly. And I wanted to use that scripture, daily renew your mind in the ways of the Lord, put on the full armor of God. I wanted to use that sort of idea that if you're not renewing your mind and you're not protecting yourself, you're coming onto an onslaught of an enemy that wants you, that wants to keep you from serving the Lord. He wants you to serve, the other Lord, Satan. And so this idea of we're always under constant attack. And later chapters are going to show this more prevalent. We're kind of just leading into that sort of way. I wanted to kind of give a grounded reality, and then kind of start slowly talking about the world we can't see, and what's going on beyond us.
Now, when I talk about going into the non-physical realm, and again, I don't want you to spoil anything other than we know that it's coming. A lot of people, DC Comics included, take it literally to hell because there's always the Dante's Inferno version where this is a place I rule in this place, and I always it's easy to forget that the actual theology of it is that I'm being punished in this place alongside you when I get in here. So technically, I don't think he's in hell at this point. If we were to, because everyone gets thrown in at the same time, all at the end on Judgment Day. Right. So what is your approach? Is it, are you going with the Alighieri Dante Alighieri version, or are you going to go with a different version?
I'm probably doing a mixture of both. I'm kind of doing it where obviously there's an army that's mechanized and is got an established base. So I kind of want to use the different layers. There's a punishment area, a torture area, but then there's an area where they're a hive mind. They're establishing themselves. They're going out and doing their stuff. Just kind of like there's higher levels of heaven. You've got your first, your second, your third higher planes. So there's areas for people to be brought in for torture, and then I also want to establish that if Satan or Lucifer is the head of the army, there's different generals at different portions.
Powers and principalities.
Exactly. So we're going to actually meet one of them here soon, and we're slowly integrating them. They're actually behind the scenes. Some of them we're going to meet here real soon, but they won't be who you think, and some of them will be in the background. So yeah, the generals will be there, but again, it has to do with them being able to physically manifest. They have to be able to possess, like the Legion, having so many in one particular person will be fun because they're going to play a huge part coming up in one of the storylines coming up real soon.
Cool. Yeah, I talked about ruling in hell. That was actually Milton's line that said, better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven. And it was Paradise Lost. And what took me about Paradise Lost when he describes the war in heaven, I always go with the pre-Raphaelite pictures of such things, where it's like spears and clawing and just fist fights and what have you. And Milton brings out guns and cannons, which and I'm like, I don't even know when Milton wrote this, but apparently there was gunpowder. But it was interesting to think that there would be that kind of artillery being brought out.
Yeah,
it really created an anachronistic kind of image that I wasn't prepared for. Have this pre-Adamic gun war going on.
Well, and also I want to bring up too, Matthew's in the chat right now.
Yeah, you got to get on his show.
Yeah, well, and he's actually helping me co-write one of the stories right now.
Cool.
I got some great feedback from him, and he's going to be coming on to do some more work too, because a guy with his sort of mindset, his background, and we just connect in the sort of stuff that we've been talking about. So he actually has a story that was coming up in the full collection. So I've gone back and revamped a few of the older stories. I recolored some stuff. So it's getting kind of like a remastered version of stories to fit in line with what's currently being published and produced, so that they can all stand together and have a really nice quality follow through.
Yeah, I would love to see your characters and Doug Ernst characters somehow find a way to join up. His Soul Finder team and your Demon Hunter team.
I've read his book and I loved it. It's funny because I didn't even know about his thing when I first started making this, but we have a very similar vision for how we are portraying these battles or these themes, these ideas of the supernatural. And I was just totally on board when I was reading it. I was like, oh man, I mean, I want to see something too. Yeah, I would love to, because that book is phenomenal.
Keep hitting him up and show him. Send him your stuff and say, hey, we got to team up. We got to do something together. One of the things that always gets me when it's these religious hero stories is usually, it's like the Omen. There's like the branch of the Catholic Church that's always watching for the Antichrist. And then when he shows up, it's like, he's here, we've got to seek him out and destroy him before he destroys the world. I'm like, aren't you guys kind of like waiting for him? I mean, that's sort of like, it's like, you'd be like, yes, he's here. We're going to go home soon. Those 7 years at the very least. Yeah.
Mine is more about the vigilance of those that are trying to bring it sooner, or that they want to willfully speed it up before, maybe before all the loss can be taken, or sure, like they want to leave as many in the void as possible, or however you want to describe it. So in mine, it's not so much they want to go destroy it, it's that they want to slow it down so that they can continue the mission of finding the lost and fulfilling God's promises and stuff. But
that makes sense.
We don't know the day or the hour, so they act like they've got a certain amount of time, and they believe that tomorrow could be the end, and that this is how much time they have. So
my first Remo Williams book, Bully Pulpit, in the Destroyer series, I'd had this idea for a villain who was not a villain. He was a televangelist who rose to prominence because some guy tried to smear him during the time all the other televangelists were getting smeared, and found out that he was completely and utterly honest and devout and did exactly what he said he did. So he started getting all this money, and he was of the mindset where he's like he's mourning the fact that the faithful are falling off every year. There's fewer and fewer of them, and he's like they're all falling off, and he took on the idea of like the Apostle Paul, I would wish myself accursed that my brethren might be saved. So he stumbles across this plan to literally, like Marvin the Martian, blow up the earth. And it would work. It was a Tesla idea too, by the way. It's very scary.
Right.
And he sets it in motion because he figures if he gets the earth to the point where nothing can save it, God has to come back. and save the rest of them so that they don't fall off. So rather, it's sort of like, rushing it so that, nobody else falls away and becomes lost, save who's here now, rather than trying to rush it so we can take who we got now that can't be rescued.
Right. Yeah, and I kind of like to view it as like the idea of like Noah and the ark and getting all the animals on. Like currently our mission right now is like to get all the lost onto the ark and get them for the day of like when the day of judgment does come, and that's our current job. So that's kind of the way I'm viewing this book right now is even though it's got a lot of Christian elements, Christian characters, I like to tell people, like, it's not a Christian book, though. It's for the lost. It's for the people that have experienced tragedy, trauma, brokenness, who have had to deal with loss. There's quite a few of us that have had to deal with, like, the loss of a loved one. How do you come through on the other end? Then how do you not be angry, or how do you deal with those stages of grief? So this book really more deals with it in kind of that sort of manner. Since the first chapter is about, his father disappearing on him and the ramifications that leads through on his life, and him having to go and kind of be a reconciliator towards other people and their grievances. Because I found that a lot of times as Christians, we kind of have the medicine to help people when they're sick. We have the ability to go and tell people, this is the rejuvenating life source that you can have too with us. You can join us, and it's not always pretty. It's not a walk in the park. We're not promised a perfect life. We're not promised no trials and tribulations. And so this is what this book is really about: is us kind of walking forward and just saying, it's not easy, but there's a promise at the end.
And of course, Raven's not perfect either. I mean,
exactly.
Just judging from what I've heard about it and what I see in the pictures, he has anger issues.
Yeah.
And he's looking before he leaps. And the only reason you would do that is because, like, I really want to hurt you, which is not a Christian virtue.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people, they put us on a pedestal saying, you're perfect. You serve this God. You've got all these, your sins forgiven. Not true. I mess up daily. I am imperfect. I have, sinned against many of my brothers and sisters, caused a lot of I've caused harm to people I didn't even intend to. And it's like we're mindful of it, though.
It comes from being human.
Exactly.
What Paul say, I die daily. Which, just saying, I'm constantly repenting because I keep doing stupid things. And, you could read in the book where he was getting in fights with Peter. He's like, hey, thou art loving the Christ wrongly.
Exactly.
Like, what do you mean? I walk with the man.
And we're not better than anybody else. It's just that we know we have something that we're looking forward to. There's a great salvation that we've been given that, like, for me, it's like when I love my wife, I want to display it to her. I want to show her every day. I'm like, man, you mean so much to me. And that's how my faith is like, I want to lavish other people. It's like, this is great. We make a lot of mistakes and things aren't perfect, but I'm filled with joy that I myself can't always explain. I want to share that with other people. I want other people to experience what I'm experiencing because I can't always explain it.
It is unexplainable. It's just, it just is. And you really sometimes can't talk people into it with words. Right. You just have to have people come to you and say, what's going on with you?
Exactly.
Whatever you got, I want.
And that's one of the craziest things is when you have a changed life. I became a Christian in 2009 and gave my life to the Lord at that point. And I'd done the church thing. I'd gone to all these places. It wasn't until that I had a breakthrough that the Lord reached out to me and I accepted the offer at that point. And who I was before that moment and who I am now are two completely different persons. I mean, you could say I was very much akin to Raven. I was bullish, angry, would lash out against people. I would hope that people would say that's not the same now.
I always like when people tell their stories and they're like, when I found the Lord, I'm like, let's be honest, you weren't looking.
Right.
You were the one who was lost. He found you. and like you said, you heard and answered at that point.
Right. Because he's always there. It's just that you choose to listen or not. And it's a big thing.
Take care, Matt. Appreciate you being here.
You, Matt.
Yes, ID Crisis. This is getting to be one of the deepest streams, and we're just talking comic books.
That's a great thing. Is I love the conversations we can open up with just comics in general. Like, I don't want to go the Archie route where he became saved and then his books became these huge preaching pieces when he did those short Christian versions.
The Spire comics.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just picked up 2 of those last week. I picked up Archie Sunshine and
Okay.
I forget what the other one was, but yeah, they were just real. Jesus literally shows up in a van painted with peace and love. I guess they were 60s.
Oh yeah, that's the time.
I didn't mind the Archie ones so much because Hal Lindsey or no, not Hal Lindsey, Al Hartley was fairly bland with it all. He was just it was always it was never "you're going to hell." It was always "here's a way of peace."
Right. Right.
Jack Chick, on the other hand,
yeah.
he was there to scare the hell out of you, literally.
And to each their own. Sometimes you need that little kick in the butt to be like, this is what happens. But I really wanted to go the route of talking to you, not preaching to you, walking this walk with you, and telling you my experiences and what I've experienced and why I chose the path I chose. That was probably the biggest underliner because we got to tell a story. We got to entertain at the same time. There can't be
Absolutely.
just it can't be a one-sided sort of mess. But
let's talk about the tiers real briefly here because
so yeah,
I want to sell your book.
So I have an update on the top as to the clerical error on my part. Someone brought that up. So the images are going to be the best clarification. So if people are looking, I have the tiers all more established as to what is what. I have a part that says ignore the titles on the actual tiers. Go off of the images that I have further down that will clarify what is what more specifically. I was kind of taking some.
By the way.
Yeah, that's the head witch. That's the main antagonist of this whole entire thing.
I shouldn't like that image so much then.
Well, she is meant to be somewhat presentable. She's supposed to lure you in. So ignore the names of the tiers on the side. Go off of the images. That was my mistake. Someone brought up to me to help me out. I'm trying something out new with merchandising and trying to sell the products in a different way. And got some good feedback. Unfortunately, it was a little too late. But so I tried. I can't edit it now that it's live. But moving forward, it will not be. Yeah, it won't be like this. But so yeah, the $5 is kind of like it's a digital teaser. It'll get you the first 20 pages of the full chapter 3, and chapter 3 is 68 pages.
Okay,
maybe it'll be 70 by the time I'm done. Because I'm working
that's
on
what it was meant by part 1.
Yeah. So if you give me $5, I'll give you 20 pages.
And you can get the whole thing for 10.
Right.
So
right. I'm viewing this more as for
free.
Yeah, I'm viewing this more as an investment, kind of an investment that, this isn't necessarily a store. You're still buying a product, but I want to give you something in return for your investment of helping get this to where we're going.
Sure.
So there's going to be some exclusives that I will never do again on here, or it'll be kind of like a one-time offer. Like the Deluxe Chapter 3 version is Chapter 3, but with extra content. It'll have 3 more stories in it with 3 new characters. And I've already announced that Sunchild, who was created by Paul Tucker of the Calvary Collective, he's going to be getting an expansion on his story. So there's going to be some characters that are debuting in the Deluxe Chapter 3 version. And will be kind of like harken back to the old days when like Action Comics, Detective Comics had kind of an anthology feel to allow you to meet new characters and get a response as to like, did you like that? Should we do more of that?
Yeah. Now, and I see the name Mr. Ghost here too. Who's that character? I saw a picture. We scrolled past.
So Mr. Ghost is Sunchild is a hippie battle hunter, as Paul would describe him. Mr. Ghost is your classic noir detective story. He's on the hunt for some political demonic people, that the society that are taking down political people that are not bending the knee. It has no political ties to any party. It's just kind of like of one, an overall everyone. If you wanted to say it's kind of like based upon like the Moloch case where people were going out and worshiping Moloch in the desert to this giant behemoth. So people are worshiping this demon. It's a political party. It could be whatever you want it to be. It's not. I'm not saying either one or. But he goes in and he is trying to look for them. He's trying not to end up as one of their missing people that goes and starts looking for them. So he's going into the very heart and soul of these very evil people that are just simply in it for power.
That would be sort of like, it reminds me of The Question, the original The Question that Code did.
Yeah, it very much is going to play tribute to some of those sort of elements. And I would say that The Question was very much part of the research material as to how to approach that.
Okay. So when we get to the first physical copy of the book, that's a $25 page, $25 tier.
Yes. Yep. And that's 68 pages. Yep.
And then if you want that deluxe one, which is going to have 100 pages of content, and it's going to have this, really cool cover on it, then that's, only $35. So for $10 more, you're getting 40 more pages, which is more than
and 6 more pages added on now with the stretch goal that we hit.
There you go.
So even more stuff for you guys to have fun with and show the process of the book,
as well as these, other character stories. So that's going to be cool.
Exactly.
Also, for $60, you can get the catch-up collection, which will give you the standard edition and chapters 0, 1, and 2. And the same thing, only with the expanded cover one. This is the one to go for here. You got 200 pages for $70.
Yeah. So, and I know everything's tight right now, so we're trying to not. The prices did go up. I used to do like $10 and shorter things, but those are for like floppies that were 20 to 40 pages. And we're doing these giant graphic novels now, so we're trying to stay within the limits of people's budgets, but at the same time provide a premium product at the same time. So at the end, I want you to feel like you're ripping me off.
Oh, I put one over on him. For $250, you get the Immortal cameo, so you can appear as a cult member, a police officer, or a party masquerade person. Be no judgment on who you pick, guys.
We got one taken already, and I'm excited to add some more people in there.
Was it King Henry?
That is King Henry. He'll be in part of in the deluxe version. So.
Oh, I thought he was the backer. Yeah, he's just like.
Oh yeah, but King Henry came in. He was generous,
So that's it. People do love being drawn into the books.
Yeah.
And then you can create your own hunter. Now, is this would this be a recurring character? I guess is my question.
I don't have it stipulated in there just in case I decide not to go with it. I was originally going to do like a short story with whoever backed at this, but when I started coming up with the provisions of can't do, because you can run into so many issues. Yeah. The sexual side of stuff that I don't want on my particular products. So the last two, when I did the last campaign, I did have that offer where it was just create a character, and I ended up actually doing 6 pages short stories for them. Those are the characters that are in the deluxe version right now. This particular one, I don't know if I have the time. That was an offer I made to those guys. It was not part of the original package. It was just something I reached out and I said, you guys want some short stories? This one is just simply, I'll design a character with you. It doesn't have to be for this series. It can be if you want to have him in the background somewhere, but otherwise right now, I'm just going to design something for you. And it states the steps as to how that would go down. And it just shows the amount of characters that I created. And I do this every once in a while for people. It's time consuming. So,
and that only comes with the deluxe version, which, it's it's a deluxe package.
Exactly.
And you explain everything here too. I didn't scroll far enough. The 3 passes that you work with, sort of like your standard Fiverr deal. We we'll do this, and talk about it, and do this, and then we'll talk about it and do that. After that, it's going to start money again. So here's a good shot of both covers. This is, he's really gotten punched there, and he's bleeding. I don't remember why he was blue.
We haven't fully explained that. That is kind of part of the upcoming story, but the armor has encompassed him. He is also the electrical parts is just forming through him. He's kind of like a living armor piece. We gave a little glimpse into that in chapter 2 when he was knocked out at the end of chapter 1. He awakes and kind of the Lightstone, the relic that is fused into him, is we found out that there is like this supernatural raven inside the stone, and we don't know much about it yet. And he kind of had a brief conversation with the raven. And so, however, we don't know how this raven is given his power. What is the contract? Like what is going on here? Which we will be explaining a little bit later. So the skin, the armor, all has a very nature to it, which I can't wait to explain later.
What would be cool? and I don't know why. I'm just saying it would be cool if it's the same Raven that Noah released that didn't come back.
You are treading on water that I can't talk about, but there are some connections there. There is a story within that very area.
I spoil so many people's crowdfunders by thinking ahead on stuff.
Well, no, it's no lie that the ravens are actually huge within biblical parts, like Elijah, and the ravens feeding him. Raven's going to play a huge part. The name Demon Hunter Raven, I will give you a hint, doesn't just refer to Raven himself. It refers to something more beyond that.
All right. What else we got down here? We've seen this, the catch. Okay, this is the descriptions of what we've already seen in the pictures.
Yep. Those are just previous pages, previous images from the last few chapters.
Those are brain eaters going hungry.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's going to be a issue. There's going to be a part where the school gets taken over by some demons, and they're just kind of showing the different things that took place in the last stories.
It's always interesting that in the religious battle comics, again, when supernatural entities, evil supernatural entities come in, it's always good physical entities that are called in. Maybe they've got a power or something.
Right.
I was talking about just the other night on stream. Frank Pellegrini did a series. I think it was called the Veritas Project. And our Project Veritas had nothing to do with the political organization, because it predated it by like 20 years.
Yeah.
But it was the three teenagers, and they knew angels, knew them first name basis. And it presented the kinds of problems that I see introduced in real world stories, and the characters addressed them. Like the older brother of the two sisters, his whole thing was they're still teenagers, so they still go to the Sunday school level of teaching. And the Sunday school teacher was like, hey, let's pray for Joe's broken leg, and that God helps him get better. And it's like, no, why doesn't Joe just get up and walk in Jesus' name? And the teacher's like, well, it doesn't. It says, no, the book says do this or you don't have faith. Either we don't have faith or it doesn't work.
Right.
And I was like, well, yeah, you got a point there. And I mean, especially if you've seen angels in battle against demons.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're
absolutely.
Like, well, then it's all true. Then why isn't it working? It's
exactly.
Real faith questioning material that he would go through.
I love that sort of stuff. Yeah, and not to say I won't dabble in that sort of area. It probably just won't go as deep as what Frank Pereggi, or how you pronounce. I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name there, but it probably won't go as deep as what he does. But I did read his stuff when I first became a believer, and his stuff just blew my mind, because it was like kind of like a roadmap of like, why is this happening now, or it was really cool.
I wanted to read more of them, and then I didn't.
Yeah, the same here.
Other books came in to be reviewed, so that's what I did. And I haven't had a chance to sit down and read now in forever, because
they're dense. They're dense books too.
Yeah, they are. They make you think.
Yeah,
So we got some other, and now we're looking at Northern Nights, and I don't know why.
That's an add-on, and you can get previous work on here. So there's like a bunch of add-ons, like the Art of Demon Hunter, the creation of it, and then my previous work. Those tend to go for like all ages, people that are just want to get a full collection of my stuff. That's another faith-based book. It has to do with allegory of when the Israelites were put into, were taken into slavery again by the Babylonians.
Okay.
So it's using the animals as a kind of a representation, or for the Israelites being put into captivity again, and about their journey and experiences through that.
Always makes it easier to understand when you put it, make it animals first of all. And then people
I'll
watch this.
That was kind of my first foray back into comics when I was just became a dad. So it was kind of really heavily inspired by my firstborn son and his kind of aloof, adventurous sort of attitude.
Now, I'm liking this badge. I know it's not final product. This is a mock-up, but it's going to be die cut in the.
I have them right here. I will show you.
So we do have final product.
Yeah, so this is it right here. It's a nice pin, as you can see.
Oh yeah. Did you get that from Sticker Mule?
I did. Yeah, they were running a deal, and I was like, I'm not going to miss this.
Yeah, that's. I am
Very happy with it.
I'm the same way. In fact,
Okay.
I've got my one here with the logo on it. I got an email from them last week. As like I tweeted about it. It's like, me, Sticker Mule, I don't need 2-inch keychains.
Yeah.
Also me, your order is arriving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did the same thing. But those are nice little add-ons that people, enjoy. You've got two crowds: the people that don't want any of the extra knickknacks, they just want the book, and then you've got the people that want all the extra tchotchkes, as some people call them. So this time around, I made it more of a hunt. You have to hunt for these extra tchotchkes, these extra items. So you have to kind of earn them. Being that it's a demon hunting sort of book, I wanted to associate hunting as a particular part of it. So if you want that enamel pin, you have to hunt down backers for me. You have to bring in people through referrals by sharing social media posts, whether you're posting
That's the way to do it. Make them stretch goals, turn people into your marketing arm.
Exactly. So that's been working out spectacular. I've got some people that have really become kind of an extra arm for me because, I don't think there's one creator out there that says they're not spending almost part of their day marketing their book. But if you got a fan base, they'll market it for you. And so it's been a really good way for me to reach out with people and connect with them. They're like, what do I got to do? I'm like, you just got to do this. So there's a tag. It's called the hashtag Demon Hunter Raven. I search that regularly on the daily. I've got quite a few people lined up already. So there's still plenty left. I've got plenty of pins. So if you want that, that's the best way to get it.
You ever thought about doing a 3D figure?
I have, but I don't even know who I would talk to. I would love to talk to someone. Definitely in the future, yeah.
Where are my pens? I feel like Frozone. Where is my super suit? I've relocated, and I'm here temporarily until I find something closer to work, and I don't have my pens. I put them in my pocket, and now I don't know where I put them. They're probably in the car. But yeah, I know exactly who to put you in touch with. He's been helping a lot of crowdfunders with 3D figures, and he's been doing them for cost. So he tells you what it would cost him to actually make it, and then you can bump it up and put it as a tier on something.
Gotcha. I'm always looking for new stuff.
And of course, here's Violet on a crossover cover with the Gooseman and Niobe, which that
was fun.
Awesome. And again, this is not a crossover story because I don't think those worlds intersect.
Yeah, it's a special cover that is going to be on all three of our campaigns. Scott's got his going on right now. Mine's going on. Larry will be running his closer to spring, summer, if I remember him saying. So that would be a special cover that if you back all three of these, you can get that.
Now, wait a second.
That was a lot of fun.
This is going to be a cover to what?
All of our books, you can get it on any of ours. So if you back mine, you'll get my book with that cover. If you back Scott's book, you'll get his book with that cover. If you back Larry's, you can get his book with that cover. So you can have all three versions with with the cover on it. So
okay, is it going to at least say Demon Hunter Raven?
Yeah, each one of us will have a different logo on it. Yeah.
Thank goodness, because I'm like,
some clarification.
Which one is this? Got to open it and take a look.
Yeah.
You know what would be cool for something like that when you guys are working together this way, and again, especially when you're working with somebody that you know is going to complete their project, not somebody that you're not familiar with,
right?
The triptych covers, where it's a crossover cover, but each cover is your own character in fight, and then you put them together and they make the big picture.
Yeah, I remember Mojo Rising and Voodoo Nations did something similar to that. Where you took this cover and you connected them, and they became one giant spread, like splash page or something.
Yeah,
that was cool. I'm not organized enough to do that.
The first time I ever saw that I can recall was when the Justice League Detroit era came out, and they introduced the 4 new Justice League characters. I picked up the second issue. I'm like, this looks, and I put them together. I'm like, of course I was 14, so it was.
Right.
It was a big deal to me. And then the third one came in, and I was like putting it next to it. I was like, it doesn't fit. Oh, it goes under here. And it's like it became a real puzzle. It was a 2x2 poster of 4 characters when you were done.
Exactly.
And there's George Peter Gatsis himself, who is going to be talking to you about your 3D figure work.
Cool.
He's asking, is the previous digital chapters bundle all the books in digital?
That would be the $28 one, George. And that would have everything included.
Yes, it's chapters 0, 1, and 2, which is previous, and chapter 3, which is current, and then all these other books. So yes, the $28 one is everything to date.
Yeah, and I do have add-ons if yeah, I'm trying to remember what I even have in my whole entire categories, but yeah, that would be the full entire lineup right there
So
of
we are at
chapter 0.
111. We are at 111 backers now.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
We had our little what we call our shake and bake moment.
It's shake and bake. It's shake and bake. And I help.
So
I like that.
We've helped one.
Hey, one's good in my book. That's plenty.
And George just said he's back, so I don't even know if this was his or if we're going to see it go up again here in just a little bit. That would be very cool. But
thank you very much, sir. Now we're even closer to hitting our next stretch goal, where we'll add on 4 more books, so that's even cooler.
4 more digital books, George. Now,
yeah,
is that only for the people who back physical, or is that for everybody?
Everybody's going to get that. Yep. So
because I know sometimes there's a stretch goal that's like, if you back the physical product, but I think that really is usually for stretch goals that are physical products themselves too.
Yeah. That could be a struggle though. Like when it's a print, how do you get that? I mean, you could just save it on your computer, but
yeah, you could take it to your local print shop.
Yeah,
print it out if you wanted.
And that's kind of the hard part about doing prints is like people can just go and take it, but I usually try to provide a lesser quality version, and then the high quality is what gets sent to the printer.
The one that you print out yourself.
Yeah,
sure. All right. Is there anything? I mean, I feel like we talk very little about the book and very much about lots of big topics.
Very good topics.
Is there anything more about Demon Hunter Raven that we should know about? You've got 11 days to go. Again, I expect this to spike. It's obviously succeeded. It's more than twice the amount of money we need to make.
Yeah, it's doing better. Yeah, it's already kind of monetized wise, allowing me to plan for some bigger things for the next campaign and future projects.
I'll be very interested to see how this one goes on Indiegogo since it hasn't appeared there before. Is that correct?
Yeah. I've never done Indiegogo.
Because there are books that are like, they do well on Indiegogo and not on Kickstarter and vice versa. And then there's like this very select club that's like, and the one that comes to mind is, Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini. Their stuff is like, we're going to make a fortune here and then we're going to go make a fortune there and then we'll reverse it.
Some people have reached out saying that the best way to do that is to do something different on each platform and provide something different. So I'll already have like a day one exclusive print for people on that platform that if you back the first day, I'll give you an exclusive print that you didn't get on Kickstarter. So definitely planning out some different things that if you back the Indiegogo, you're going to get something slightly different. All the same basic tiers will be there, but there might be one exclusive thing on there that you get on Kickstarter. And then vice versa, something on Kickstarter you won't get on Indiegogo. Very cool. Yeah, make it special for each one of them. That way the Kickstarter people aren't like, hey, I thought this was unique for us, Right. And the Deluxe Chapter with Steve Cummings, that's going to be on both campaigns. So if you miss it on Kickstarter, it will be on Indiegogo as well. It's the Chapter 3 campaign exclusive. Yeah, and all you need to do is just put the Kickstarter logo and the Indiegogo logo on the two different books in a corner off to the side where it's unobtrusive, and you're like, I got this version of it. Right. And then, of course, they might want to go get the other version of it and have them both. Exactly. And there have been some people that have done that they wanted the standard and the deluxe, one that they want to give to a friend or they want an extra copy. Well, we're a very obsessive, compulsive fan base when it comes to collecting comics. Very true. Long before Pokemon, we were very much the gotta catch 'em all people. Trading cards, baseball cards, all that stuff. Exactly. Right. Well, Nick, it's been a pleasure having you on the channel. Always love talking with you. Thanks. Looking forward to seeing you on Matt's channel because I'm sure he will have a much more educated background to work on the discussion. Everyone's saying you got an echo on your side now. I'm not hearing it. It's whenever you refresh the page, I start getting an echo on my end. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to my thing's connected. I don't know what I hold. I just stopped sharing the screen. So that's probably something with StreamYard then that just caused that to happen, because I was sharing it with audio because I thought I might play the trailer, but I didn't. Oh, right. So sometimes when you share a screen with audio, it just messes it up. Does a reverb on it and everything. Yeah. So since everybody's tripping, we will just let them all go.
And want to remind everybody tomorrow night we're going to have 2 shows tomorrow night. So tune in at 7 p.m. And I'm going to try to finish the 7 p.m. one up before 8 o'clock when we have the 8 o'clock show going on. We're going to have a horror author come on at 8 o'clock. Damascus Mincemeyer is going to be basically running that. He's our horror review person, expert at Critical Blast. And then at 7 o'clock before that, I will be sitting here talking with Carl Kiesel, who, done a lot of work for DC Comics, Hawk and Dove back in the day. And he is putting out a new crowdfunded book, Impossible Jones 2. So we're going to find out more about that one. Everyone in the chat, appreciate you being here. We